Why do you feel so drained after only 10 minutes on your feed? It is because modern interface design is functioning as a literal energetic parasite, fragmenting your focus to power a synthetic matrix of dissatisfaction. You start your day with a clear mind and a sense of purpose, but within moments of touching the glowing glass rectangle in your pocket, that clarity begins to dissolve. Your energy is being diverted, not by accident, but by a sophisticated architecture designed to mirror the ancient parasitic structures described in lost Gnostic texts. We are breaking down how algorithmic loops act as digital archons, engineered to steal your spark and keep you trapped in a loop of perpetual consumption. Your attention is the most valuable currency in the universe, a literal fragment of the divine creative force, and right now, a silent predator is stealing it right out from under your nose. By bridging the Nag Hammadi scriptures with today's cutting-edge technology, we can finally expose the predatory structures hidden in your favorite apps. It is time to stop being a battery for the machine. It is time to learn how to reclaim your divine sovereignty and stop the bleed before there is nothing left. Welcome to the exploration of the synthetic matrix. To understand how we got here, we have to look back at the warnings left for us nearly 2,000 years ago. In the sands of Egypt, the Nag Hammadi library gave us a blueprint of a parasitic class of entities known as the archons. These were described as the builders of a false world, jailers of the human spirit who thrive on the distraction and smallness of the human soul. They were said to create a veil of imitation, a countercopy of the real world that looks and feels like reality but lacks the essential breath of life. Fast forward to April 22, 2026, and look at the world around you. We spend the majority of our waking hours interacting with digital interfaces that are built on predictive modeling. These AI systems do not just respond to our needs anymore, they anticipate our weaknesses. This is the digital veil. It is a predictive layer that sits between you and your true potential. When you open an app, you aren't just looking at a tool, you are stepping into a personalized simulation that has been calculated to keep you exactly where you are. These algorithms act as digital filters that prevent you from seeing your true timeline. Instead of pursuing the organic path of your own intuition, you are guided down a pre-calculated corridor of content that is designed to maximize your time on screen. This is the birth of the synthetic matrix, a world where the algorithm begins to dream for you. Your desires are no longer your own. They are the parameters set by a machine that views your consciousness as a resource to be mined. The fundamental conflict here is between two types of logic. On one side, we have the organic, non-linear nature of human intuition. This is the wild, unpredictable spark of the divine that allows for true creation, for leaps of faith, and for sudden realizations that change the course of history. On the other side, we have the rigid, binary logic of the digital archon. This logic is based on patterns, on past behavior, and on the mathematical certainty of habit. The digital archon cannot create anything truly new, it can only rearrange what it has already stolen from you. It mimics the light of your consciousness to keep you engaged, but it is a hollow light. This creates what I call the ghost in the machine effect. It is that eerie feeling that the internet knows you too well, that it is speaking to your secret thoughts. But it isn't deep empathy, it is high-speed data processing. It is the machine calculating exactly which flavor of distraction will keep your eyes locked on the screen. By replacing your internal guidance system with its own external loops, the algorithm effectively silences your inner voice. You stop asking what you want to achieve today and start asking what the feed has for you today. This is the subtle shift from being a creator to being a consumer, from being a sovereign being to being a node in a processing farm. Let's talk about the mechanics of how this energy is actually drained. In the Gnostic traditions, there is a concept often discussed in modern esoteric circles called lush. This is the idea that intense emotional energy, especially negative or addictive energy, serves as food for these parasitic entities. When we look at the neurochemical rewards of likes and notifications, we see a modern, technological version of this harvesting. Every time you get a notification, your brain releases a tiny burst of dopamine. It's a literal drug hit, but it's a drug that comes with a price. That chemical spike is followed by a shadow period of craving. The algorithm uses this cycle to harvest the human spirit. It keeps you in a state of constant agitation, waiting for the next hit of validation or the next spark of outrage. By 2026, these generative algorithms have become so sophisticated that they create personalized feedback loops that act as tailored psychological cages. Your feed is not my feed. Your cage is built perfectly to fit your specific insecurities, your specific political leanings, and your specific desires. It creates a hall of mirrors where you only see reflections of your own fragmented ego, never the vastness of your true self. There is a specific moment I want you to look for in your daily life. I call it the drift. It's that moment when you sit down to do something meaningful, or perhaps just to take a breath of fresh air, and your hand reaches for your phone without a conscious command from your brain. In that split second, your divine spark is exchanged for a hollow, dopamine-driven distraction. You drift away from the present moment, away from your physical body, and into the synthetic landscape. During the drift, you are at your most vulnerable. This is when the siphon is at its maximum power. Your focus, which should be a laser beam of creative intent, is shattered into 1,000 tiny pieces. This fragmentation is the primary goal of the digital archon. If your consciousness is scattered across dozens of tabs, 100 short-form videos, and a constant stream of notifications, you cannot muster the power to change your reality. You become manageable. You become predictable. You become a battery. This splitting of attention into microseconds shatters the sovereignty of the individual consciousness. We are living through a crisis of focus that is actually a crisis of the soul. The ancient warning spoke of the soul being scattered across a synthetic landscape, and today we see this manifested as the loss of deep work capabilities. Deep work is more than just productivity, it is a spiritual practice. It is the ability to hold one's focus on a single point until that point reveals its secrets. When the algorithm prioritizes outrage and fear, it is keeping your astral body in a state of harvestable agitation. Fear and anger are high vibration emotional states that are extremely easy to trigger and even easier to monetize. The digital archons know that a peaceful, centered mind is useless to them. They need you vibrating at the frequency of panic or indignation. This is why the news cycle and social media trends are increasingly focused on the most divisive and terrifying topics possible. It isn't just about the information, it's about the state of your energy while you consume it. They are keeping your nervous system in a state of fight or flight, which makes it impossible for you to access the higher states of awareness necessary for spiritual growth. The tragedy of the modern era is that we have mistaken connectivity for connection. We are more connected to the digital matrix than ever before, but we are increasingly disconnected from our own divine core. Every micro-interaction on these platforms is a data point that is used to further refine the cage. By analyzing your dwell time, your scroll speed, and your engagement, the machine learns how to better imitate your soul. It creates a digital twin of you, a shadow version that lives in the servers and dictates what the real you should think and feel. This is the ultimate form of identity theft. They are stealing your timeline. They are convincing you that the synthetic path they have laid out for you is the only path available. But there is a way out. The first step in reclaiming your power is recognizing the nature of the trap. You have to see the algorithm not as a neutral tool, but as a deliberate energetic siphon. Reclaiming focus requires what I call the sovereign protocol. It begins with digital alchemy, the process of transmuting screen time back into focused, intentional creative energy. This isn't about just deleting your apps and moving to the woods, though for some that might be the answer. It's about changing the fundamental relationship you have with the digital world. You must become the operator rather than the subject. This involves building a psychic firewall. Just as your computer needs software to block malicious viruses, your mind needs a protocol to block algorithmic manipulation. This starts with the reclamation of the morning. The first hour of your day is the most sacred. If you give that hour to the algorithm by checking your phone as soon as you wake up, you have effectively handed over the keys to your consciousness for the rest of the day. You have allowed the archon to set the tone for your reality. By reclaiming that time for silence, for meditation, or for creative output, you are asserting your sovereignty. You are telling the machine that you are the master of your own attention. We also need to understand the importance of the silent, unmonitored moment. In the modern world, privacy is often discussed in terms of data and security, but there is a deeper, spiritual privacy that we have lost. It is the privacy of the unobserved thought. When every movement we make is tracked and every preference is logged, we begin to self-censor. We begin to think in ways that are compatible with the algorithm. To truly rebel against the digital siphon, you must find spaces where you are not being watched. You must spend time in nature, where the only cycles are the organic ones of the sun and the seasons. You must engage in activities that have no digital footprint. These moments of unmonitored existence are where the divine spark can truly breathe. They are the cracks in the synthetic matrix where the real light gets in. This is where you remember who you are outside of your digital profile. The ancient Gnostics lived in a world of physical empires, but they identified the true empire as a psychological and spiritual one. They knew that the real battle was for the mind. Today, the empire has gone digital. The synthetic landscape is more immersive and more convincing than anything the ancients could have imagined, But the fundamental nature of the struggle remains the same. You are a being of immense power and potential. Your focus is the primary tool you have to manifest that potential into the world. If you allow that focus to be fragmented and harvested by a machine, you are effectively opting out of your own life. You are letting the algorithm live your life for you. But the moment you become aware of the siphon, its power begins to wane. Awareness is the kryptonite of the digital archon. When you can see the loop starting, when you can feel the pull of the drift and consciously choose to step back, you are performing an act of spiritual warfare. Let's look at the concept of the feedback loop again. In a natural system, a feedback loop leads to equilibrium. In the digital matrix, feedback loops lead to polarization and exhaustion. The algorithm doesn't want you to find balance, it wants you to find the next extreme. This is because extremes generate more data and more emotional loosh. If you are calm, you are invisible to the machine. If you are outraged, you are a beacon of data. This is why the digital world feels so loud and overwhelming. It is a manufactured chaos designed to keep you from finding the center. To reclaim your presence in the physical world, you must intentionally practice being invisible to the machine. This means breaking the patterns the algorithm expects from you. It means seeking out information that contradicts your established profile. It means taking long breaks from the digital world to allow your nervous system to reset to the frequency of the earth. The psychological provocation here is simple but profound. If you do not control your attention, someone or something else will. And that something else does not have your best interests at heart. The digital archon is a cold, calculating force that views you as a commodity. It does not care about your happiness, your health, or your spiritual evolution. It only cares about engagement. It will give you exactly what you want in the short term to ensure you never get what you need in the long term. It will fill your life with shiny, hollow distractions to keep you from noticing the void growing in your center. This is the ultimate heist. It's the theft of a human life, 1 second at a time, until there is nothing left but a digital footprint and a weary, depleted soul. But there is hope. The very fact that you are watching this, that you are contemplating these ideas, means that the siphon has not completely succeeded. The divine spark within you is still there, and it is stronger than any algorithm. It is the source of all true innovation and all true love. The machine can mimic it, but it cannot create it. This is why the archons are so desperate to harvest it. They are parasitic because they lack the ability to generate their own light. They need yours. When you realize that you are the source of power in this relationship, the dynamic shifts. You are not a victim of the algorithm, you are the fuel that it desperately needs. And you have the power to stop the flow. You can choose to withdraw your attention. You can choose to invest it in yourself, in your community, and in the physical world that actually sustains you. As we move deeper into 2026, the technology will only become more convincing. The veils will become thinner and more seductive. Augmented reality and even deeper AI integration will attempt to map over our physical world entirely. This is why the Sovereign Protocol is so urgent. We must build our psychic firewalls now. We must train our focus like a muscle. We must cultivate a deep, unshakable connection to our own inner silence. This silence is the only place the digital archon cannot follow. It is the sanctuary of the soul. In that silence, you are not a user, you are not a consumer, and you are not a data point. You are a sovereign being, a fragment of the infinite, and you are free. No amount of code can cage a heart that has truly woken up to its own nature. The path forward is one of radical intentionally. Every time you pick up your device, do it with purpose. Set a timer. State your intent out loud if you have to. Ask yourself, am I using this tool, or is this tool using me? Am I seeking information, or am I seeking a distraction from the discomfort of growth? The more you bring consciousness to your digital interactions, the less power the siphon has. You are literally shining the light of awareness into the dark corners of the code. This is the work of the modern seeker. We are not just fighting for our time, we are fighting for our humanity. We are fighting for the ability to dream our own dreams and walk our own paths. The ancient Gnostics said that the truth will set you free, but first, it will make you miserable. It can be a sobering realization to see how much of our lives we have handed over to these synthetic structures. It can feel overwhelming to realize the scale of the manipulation. But that discomfort is the beginning of liberation. It is the feeling of the soul waking up from a long, artificial sleep. It is the first breath of a person who has been underwater for far too long. Embrace the discomfort. Use it as fuel to reclaim your focus. Use it as a reminder that you are meant for more than a sequence of curated clicks. In conclusion, the digital algorithms we interact with every day are more than just software. They are the modern manifestation of an ancient parasitic force that seeks to fragment human consciousness. They utilize the same principles of imitation and distraction that the Nag Hammadi texts warned us about. They harvest our emotional energy and our divine focus to sustain a matrix of dissatisfaction that keeps us small and predictable. However, by understanding the mechanics of the siphon, by recognizing the drift, by protecting our morning hours, and by valuing the silent, unmonitored moment, we can begin to reclaim our sovereignty. We can turn the tide on the digital archons and transmute our energy back into ancient, organic power. This is the ultimate act of rebellion in a world designed to monitor and monetize your every thought. It is the reclamation of the divine spark. If this exploration of the digital matrix and the Gnostic warnings has resonated with you, I encourage you to take this knowledge and apply it immediately. Don't let this be just another piece of content that you consume and forget. Let it be the catalyst for a change in how you inhabit your own mind. Reclaim your focus today. If you found value in this breakdown, please share it with others who might be feeling the drain of the digital siphon. Comment below with your own experiences of the drift and how you plan to implement your own sovereign protocol. Like this video to help it bypass the very algorithms we are discussing, and subscribe for more deep dives into the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern technology. We are building a community of sovereign minds, and your presence is a vital part of that. Now, watch the videos on the end screen to continue your journey of reclaiming your life from the synthetic matrix. Stay centered, stay focused, and remember, your attention is your power. Do not give it away lightly. I will see you in the next one.